Dorothy Guining with Scrapbooking Quebec. In this video, I'm going to be doing a Christmas themed layout for the Scrapbook Nerd Online Shop. That's the theme of our online virtual crop happening all weekend long over on our Facebook group, Scrapbook Nerd Friends Group. We have challenges, prizes, and tons of inspiration. So if you're tuning in July 15th to 17th, 2022, be sure to head on over. I will put a link to that group in the description box below. And if you missed the crop, no big deal. I have a quick and easy layout process video. I am going to be doing a Christmas themed project, but you can substitute with the theme of your choice. This design is fun, easy, and it's great for using up embellishments. I'm going to be digging into this, which is Vicki Boutin's Warm Wishes collection, and I have some poinsettia dies from Waffle Flower. I bought both the collection and these dies last Christmas, and I absolutely loved them. Actually, I think I restocked the paper 3 times. Anyway, the last time I checked, the Warm Wishes collection along with those dies were available at the shop still. So if they are, I will link them in the description box below. So without further ado, let's get started. Here's what's on my desk. So in advance, I prepared a frame style foundation with 3 sheets of paper, and I gutted 2 of them, and I'm showing you the paper that I got from behind the foundation page. There is a tutorial on my channel where I explain how to do that, so that will be linked below. I have one 5x5 photo of me and Chester that I matted. I'm showing you the other papers that I have from the Warm Wishes collection. I did kind of select some, but I do have my scraps handy, and I have some cardstock and glitter paper handy as well, because I do plan to use these dies from Waffle Flower, and I'll talk more about those later in the process. I have this tray full of embellishments, again, mostly from the Warm Wishes collection. So the first thing I'm going to do is create a layered photo mat. So what you see me doing right now is just essentially playing around with the order of the layers. So I decide to go with a wood grain mat for my photo. So that's actually a double mat. And then I'm going to use that striped paper, which you can see is already ripped at the bottom. And then underneath that, I'll put that, it's kind of like a pale aqua color. So I'm trimming these down. I will put measurements on the screen, but I want to point out that the measurements that I'm using are dictated by the size of the scraps that I have. I don't have much of this collection left, so it's a great reason, it's a great opportunity, I should say, to create kind of a layered photo mat, because it's a great way to use up scraps. So there you can see it. I've got some different widths happening here, and I'm going to be layering them up. And because that rip is already in that paper at the bottom, I'm going to continue that ripped look. So the bottom of my photo mat is all going to be ripped. So you can see I'm placing that striped one on top of that pale piece, and I'm not centering it. And then I plan to place the photo towards the top of the page. Now I have another strip of this wood grain paper, and the wood grain I'm using, by the way, is from Simple Stories. It's from a collection called Woods. I use it all the time. I buy it almost like I buy white and black cardstock. It is an absolute staple in my scrap room. And again, if it's available at the shop, I will link it below. So I basically know the order of my layers. So before adhering it, I'm going to apply a bit of ink to all of my layers. And the ink I'm using is by VersaFine Clair, and the color I'm using is Morning Mist, which is like a dark gray. And I often use this when I ink paper layers for a layout. It's just not as harsh as black ink, but it has that black ink look without being as harsh. So I've inked it all up, all of the layers, including the shelf, and now what I'm going to do is just adhere this part to my layout. So I adhere the second photo mat to my photos. I'm going to adhere these 2 layers to the mat, or 2 layers of the mat together, I should say. I will adhere this mat to the page because I do know I want it to go on the left side, because I plan to have a shelf that sticks out to the right. But I'm going to keep the shelf and my matted photo separate for the time being, because I'm going to want to play around with placement and all of that. So I'm almost done here, and then what I'm going to do is already start the embellishment process. I just decided to tear the end of that shelf as well, just to kind of match the torn bottom edges of that layered photo mat. So I'm showing you my tray of embellishments here, but before I dig into that, I want to start doing some die cutting. And I mentioned those dies earlier. They're by Waffle Flower, and I bought them last Christmas, and I absolutely love them. And the reason why I bought them, you're going to see me cut it out, but I'm going to talk about this for a minute because I wanted poinsettia dies for a few years. And every time I found one, I found them too expensive, and I knew I would just be using them at Christmas. Well, I ended up buying these ones, unsure if they would work or not. They work perfectly well. You're going to see me use them right here. And I didn't pay that much for them. And they totally satisfy my poinsettia needs. And just like I predicted, after I finished my Christmas pages, I put them away. So I'm really glad I didn't invest a whole lot in this product, but it works so, so well. And sure enough, here I am doing a Christmas page in July, and I pulled them out. So you can see the die set comes with 3 layers, 3 different sizes. And for the largest size, I cut it out in 2 colors, in red and green. So you can see off camera, I adhered 3 of these flowers together, but I'm going to show you how I do it. Basically, I am using a liquid adhesive by iCraft, and that's available at the shop as well. So what I'm doing is I'm just putting a dab of it in 3 of the 4 flowers, right in the middle there. And you're going to see when I adhere these petals together, the flowers, I'm just kind of turning them so that the petals on the second layer are in the middle, in between the petals on the layer beneath it. And I continue that with all 4 layers, and it makes this beautiful layered flower, really, really easy. Now I'm putting a metallic dot in the middle. It's just an enamel dot from Pink Fresh Studio. This die set actually comes with little circles, but they're too fussy for me. For me, tools have to be really, really easy, so I just stuck an enamel dot in the middle. So basically, I kind of pre-selected some of the embellishments off camera. I don't use them all, but I basically narrowed down my choice. And you can see I have my journaling on a piece of vellum. Basically, that was vellum, an 8.5 by 11 piece of vellum that I ran through my printer. I didn't trim it in the width yet because I'm not quite sure where I want that journaling to land underneath my photo, but you can see I tore the bottom as well. I used a tearing tool from Creative Memories, but you can just tear by hand if you want. I basically wanted it to match the other torn layers. So what I'm doing here is creating 2 embellishment clusters to create a diagonal design. So the main one is going to be there at the bottom right, where you can see I have 2 of those poinsettias. I have 2 pieces of ephemera from this Warm Wishes collection, which are quite big. And now I'm just playing around with a few other pieces here. So I'm really glad I narrowed down my choice because I would have been here forever. And these pieces are quite big from Vicki Boutin, so it really doesn't take that much. At this point, I'm quite liking that tree decoration there with the holly leaves and bow, but that ends up getting changed. Anyway, you can see me tucking in another piece of ephemera, and it says Christmas Countdown. So I really like how that extends out on the horizontal. So now what I'm going to do is work on that top left corner. So all I end up doing there is adding 2 more pieces of ephemera in addition to that poinsettia. And now you can see me trimming down that piece of that journaling box, I should say. And what I'm looking for with the journaling box, you can see there are a lot of layers there, and I want it to create yet another layer. So I don't want it to line up with anything perfectly. And when I adhere it, you're going to notice that that piece of vellum, the journaling box, kind of goes halfway underneath that piece of ephemera that says the word home. So once again, by not lining everything up perfectly, it just adds to that layered look. Super, super easy. So now I'm adhering everything down, and I do end up popping up one of the poinsettias there at the bottom with some foam adhesive, the one that goes towards the bottom. I actually do that with the poinsettia that's at the top right as well. You'll see that in a little bit. Now I'm not going to add a title to this layout. I am doing my quick and easy summer scrapbooking, and the way I look at it, those 2 big blocks at the bottom, one says Home for the Holidays, the other Making Spirits Bright. That is perfect for my title. Now I could put it just on the right-hand side of that photo, just above that shelf, but I'm not going to do it. Again, quick and easy scrapbooking. It's July. That's the kind of scrapbooking I do in the summer. Now at this point I'm finished. You can see I put a little sticker, a word sticker up in that tab above my photo. But my journaling with the vellum is popping up a bit, and I'm thinking, or I was thinking there for a moment, to add some staples at the bottom, but I honestly didn't have the guts to do it. But you can see off camera, I actually did. I added 2 staples there down by that journaling box in the bottom. Then I added 1 more above the ephemera block that says Making Spirits Bright. And finally, I ended up adding a 3rd staple at the top left where it says Wish List. But that is it. A super quick and easy layout. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, I'd greatly appreciate a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to the Scrapbook Nerd YouTube channel, we would be absolutely thrilled if you did. And the same thing for my channel, Scrapbooking Quebec. Also, if you're tuning in July 15th to 17th, make sure you head on over to the Facebook group, Scrapbook Nerd Friends Group. The link will be below. Have a great day, and I'll see you soon on YouTube. Bye-bye.